remain committed to peace, we also possess credible combat power that backs up that commitment.
The next global conflict might not start in Europe or the Middle East. The Indo-Pacific has entered a new chapter in history. World War III could begin right here, in Asia, just a few hundred kilometers north of the Philippines. Taiwan lies just 190 kilometers from Batanes, the Philippines' northernmost province. With regional superpower China openly vowing to reunify Taiwan by force if necessary,
uphold the One China principle and stick to the 1992 consensus.
the Philippines isn't just nearby, it's directly in the way. Chinese aircraft routinely breach Taiwan's air defense zone. Their Coast Guard ships stalk the South China Sea, and in response, the Philippines is stepping up, hosting the largest joint military drills in its history. With American fighter jets now landing on Philippine runways, this isn't a distant threat. It's a front line waiting to be drawn. The Indo-Pacific isn't simmering anymore, it's boiling. China has transformed submerged reefs into military outposts. Runways, radars, and missile platforms now dot the Spratly Islands, well within striking distance of Palawan and Mindoro, the west coast of the Philippines. Beijing says it's just protecting its territory. Washington calls it militarization. And Manila is stuck in the middle, absorbing brutal bullying from its neighbor, but is no longer standing still. The Philippines has become critical terrain in the U.S.'s Indo-Pacific playbook, thanks to its geography. Luzon faces Taiwan. Palawan looks toward the Spratlys, and under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, U.S. troops now have access to 9 strategic sites across the archipelago. The Philippines is now rethinking policies initially designed for peacetime. This isn't just about islands, waterways, or valuable resources anymore. It's about airfields, logistics routes, missile defense, and early warning systems. China knows it, the US knows it, and now the Philippines is starting to act like it. But is it too little too late? Because the real question is, if the invasion of Taiwan pushes through, does the war come here next? And with US assets strategically located in the Philippines, an attack from China is imminent. Does the Philippines still have enough time to rearm? And in turning a once tourism-driven archipelago into a forward-leaning defense outpost, are we really making the country safer or just drawing the front lines closer? Coming up, what the people are thinking and whether the nation is truly ready for what's coming. While the region inches closer to open conflict, daily life in the Philippines moves on, calm, almost unaware. Ask the average Filipino about the threat of war with China, and you'll likely get a shrug or a sarcastic crack about traffic being the real enemy. But scratch the surface, and you'll find something deeper. Tension that's real, but quietly carried. In Palawan, locals can sometimes spot gray silhouettes on the horizon, warships where fishing boats used to be. Out at sea, Filipino fishermen already live the front line. They don't need headlines to know something's wrong. Their fishing grounds are shrinking, patrol ships are circling, and encounters with foreign vessels are becoming dangerously routine. The anxiety isn't loud, it's low, steady, and rising. A country famed for fiestas and resilience is now quietly bracing for something no one wants to say out loud. This isn't paranoia, it's proximity. While TikTok trends dominate timelines among the Filipino youth, defense awareness is quietly growing. There's more talk online about joint military, more headlines on Chinese patrols and military upgrades. Slowly, the idea of national security is creeping back into the public consciousness. Across the nation, military reserve training programs are quietly expanding for the Army, Air Force, and Navy. More civilians are stepping up, not because it's trendy, but there is the understanding for the need to be prepared. But what about those actually in charge of keeping the country safe? What's their game plan? Chinese soldiers preparing for battle. This is what China wants the world to see, with a clear goal to gain control of Taiwan and the entirety of the South China Sea. In 2016, the Philippines was still debating where to put a new mall, politicians to vote, and tourism-related infrastructure. Fast forward to 2025, it's debating where to put its missiles and what military assets to procure. The government has finally realized that good diplomacy works better when backed by firepower. Through the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, American troops and assets are now rotating through the Philippines more frequently than typhoons. New EDCA sites in Luzon, Palawan, and Cagayan are being built up, not just for training, but as forward operating bases in case the region turns red hot. And it's not just the US. Japan, Australia, South Korea, and even France are now in tighter defense talks with Manila. The AFP is upgrading fast. From drones to BrahMos missiles, Sabre tanks to multi-role fighters, defense is no longer an afterthought. It's becoming a national priority. But building bases and buying jets are one thing. What happens when the shooting starts? Is the Philippines truly prepared for what's coming? The armed forces of the Philippines isn't standing still, because time might be the one luxury the country doesn't have. The AFP modernization program is shifting into high gear. The Navy's launching more missile-capable vessels than ever before. The Air Force is expanding its surveillance network and adding more fighter jets. And the Marines? They're no longer just guarding coastlines. They're training for island takeovers. And the upgrades aren't just floating or flying. They're watching too. Japan recently donated cutting-edge coastal radar systems to the Philippines. Systems designed not just to detect incoming threats, but to plug straight into a regional surveillance grid. These eyes aren't blinking anymore. Then there's basing. Across the archipelago, old airstrips are being reinforced, hangars rebuilt, fuel depots stocked. The message is clear. If war breaks out, planes and ships won't be scrambling to get ready. They'll already be in place. And let's talk drills, because the days of symbolic flag waving are over. The Philippines is now running real-deal joint exercises with the US and allies. Balikatan, once a pageantry of alliance, is now the biggest it's ever been, simulating amphibious island assaults, air defense coordination, and integrated command structures. Kamandog and Cope Thunder are pushing joint air and naval operations to levels never seen before in Philippine waters and skies. On a side note, these military drills are happening more frequently throughout the year as typhoons hit the Philippines. So what's next? The Philippines is now pushing for an integrated air defense network. Radar stations are being upgraded, air bases are being hardened, and surface-to-air missile systems are on the procurement list. Because in a future war, survival might come down to who sees and shoots first. But here's where it gets even more serious. Military planners are quietly preparing select bases across the archipelago to function as forward operating zones. Think staging grounds for rapid response, air patrols, and regional coordination, not just for Philippine forces, but for allied troops as well. The big players are watching. Japan is in deep talks with Manila over joint patrols and equipment donations. AUKUS and Quad, security blocks built to check Chinese expansion, are strengthening cooperation with Southeast Asian partners. In short, the Philippines isn't just securing its backyard. It's becoming part of a broader security wall across the Indo-Pacific. The Philippines might not be preparing for war, but it's definitely preparing for something. The world is changing, and so is the country's place in it. But here's the real question. What should the Philippines do next? More ships? More allies? Or a whole new doctrine? We want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What role should the Philippines play in this rising storm of the Indo-Pacific? And if you found value in this, hit like, subscribe, and join us again on the next.